There is a quiet moment that almost nobody sees. It is not on your birthday. It is not on New Year's Eve. It is not when you get a certificate or a promotion. It is the moment when you look at yourself honestly and think, I cannot continue being this version of me forever. Not because you hate yourself, but because you feel you have outgrown this old identity. You feel it is time to become someone new. Before we go deeper, if you like content that helps you improve your English and at the same time helps you understand your mind, your habits, and your life more clearly, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It seems like a small action, but it supports this project and helps this kind of message reach more people who might need it. Today's topic is becoming someone new, not doing a little better, not fixing one habit, becoming a different person from the inside out, not fake, not forced, real change. Let us start with something that might feel uncomfortable. Most people do not change deeply. They change clothes, they change jobs, they change relationships, they change apps. But inside, the same patterns, the same fear, the same excuses, the same stories. I am not good enough. I always quit. I am shy. I am not disciplined. I am bad at English. The packaging changes, the identity stays the same. When we talk about becoming someone new, we are not talking about playing a character. We are talking about changing what you believe about yourself so that your actions, your English, your relationships, your choices start to come from a new place. Here is the first big idea. You are already a collection of identities. You are not just you. You are the responsible one at work. You are the funny one with some friends. You are the quiet one in certain situations. You are the insecure one when speaking English. Each context wakes up a different version of you. This means two important things. First, you are not as fixed as you think. Second, you have already changed roles many times in your life. Think about it. There was a time when you did not work. Then you became an employee or a student or a parent. There was a time when you did not know how to use a phone. Now you use it every day. There was a time when you did not know the things you know today. You have already become different versions of yourself without noticing. The difference now is that you want to do it consciously. The question is not, can I change? The question is, what new version of me do I want to grow? Let us bring this conversation to your English right now. Notice how you describe yourself. I am terrible at speaking. I am shy. I am lazy. I am not consistent. I am too old. These are not just descriptions. They are instructions for your brain. When you repeat, I am shy, your brain does not see it as a temporary state. It sees it as a rule. Shy people do not speak up, so I will not speak up. When you repeat, I am terrible at English, your brain starts to ignore all evidence to the contrary. It does not see the words you understand. It does not see the progress you already made. It only sees what confirms the identity. Becoming someone new starts with this. You stop using your past as a definition and start using it as information. Instead of, I am bad at English, you can think, until now, my behavior with English was irregular and full of fear. But that is not my destiny. It is a chapter, not the whole book. You are not your habits. You are the one who can change your habits. Now this sounds beautiful, but let us be practical. What does it mean in daily life to become someone new? One way to see it is this. You upgrade your automatic self. Right now, your automatic self does certain things without much effort. Wake up, check your phone, eat a certain way, think a certain way, react a certain way. You do not need motivation to be your old self. You just wake up and it happens. Becoming someone new means teaching your brain a new automatic. For example, today your automatic self maybe is see English, feel fear, avoid. The new version could be see English, feel fear, still approach, not always heroically, but enough to break the old pattern. Let us imagine two characters, old you and new you. Old you says, I do not speak because I am afraid to make mistakes. New you says, I speak even when I am afraid. Old you says, I watch videos but never interact. New you says, I watch and I also write one comment or one sentence or one note in English. Old you says, I study only when I feel motivated. New you says, I study because this is who I am now, someone who takes English seriously even on ordinary days. At the beginning, new you will feel fake. Your brain will say, this is not me. I am forcing it. I am pretending. But here is a powerful truth. Every new version of you will feel fake at the beginning. The first time you rode a bike, you felt awkward. The first time you sent a work email, you felt unsure. The first time you spoke in English, you felt strange. Over time, it became more natural. Fake is often just new and unfamiliar. Becoming someone new requires that you accept this period where your actions are ahead of your feelings. You act like the new you, even while part of you still feels like the old you. This is not lying. It is training. Now there is another important part. If you want to become someone new, you cannot keep feeding yourself with the same inputs that built the old version. If you spend most of your time consuming content that says, life is hopeless, everyone is fake, nothing works, everything is hard, your brain will build a version of you that is cynical, afraid, and tired. If you only listen to people who complain, who never try, who ridicule those who study or speak another language, that energy will shape your identity. Your environment is not everything, but it is not nothing. Becoming someone new means being more intentional about what you allow to enter your mind. For example, if new you is someone who feels comfortable speaking English, what would they watch? What would they read? Who would they follow? Probably they would expose themselves to English regularly, not as punishment, as normal life. If new you is someone who is kinder to themselves, they probably would not spend hours listening to voices that tell them they are worthless. They would look for healthier, wiser voices. Now I promised you that this would not become pick one area, English, health, money. So let us do something different. Instead of choosing a life area, you are going to imagine a specific future situation. A moment, not a category. For example, a job interview in English, a trip to another country, a conversation with someone you admire, a presentation at work, a moment when someone criticizes you, a moment when you feel like giving up. Choose one scene. A real scene that could happen in the next 1 or 2 years. Close your eyes for a second if you can. Imagine that scene. Now imagine two versions of you inside it. Old you and new you. How does old you stand? How do they speak? What do they think? Where do they look? Maybe they avoid eye contact. They speak very softly. They apologize for their English. They say, Sorry, my English is bad, before even starting. They leave the situation feeling ashamed, small, angry with themselves. Now imagine new you in the same scene. Not a superhero, just a version of you a few levels above. How do they stand? How do they breathe? How do they react when they do not understand a word? Maybe they say, "Could you repeat that, please?" Maybe they take 2 seconds of silence before answering. Maybe they still feel afraid inside, but they stay in the situation instead of running away. After the scene, they feel a mix of fear and pride. Pride because they did not abandon themselves. This exercise is not fantasy, it is a rehearsal. Athletes do this, musicians do this, high performers do this. They mentally rehearse the new version of themselves in action, not to escape reality, but to prepare for it. Now, how do you bring this new you from imagination into your days? First, you need a clear sentence, not about what you want to have, but about who you are becoming. Many people say, "I want to have a good job. I want to have a strong body. I want to have fluency in English." These are results. Results are important, but they are the end of the story. Identity is the beginning. Identity sounds like, "I am becoming someone who finishes what they start. I am becoming someone who speaks English even when they are afraid. I am becoming someone who treats their body with respect. I am becoming someone who tells themselves the truth, not only excuses." Your sentence does not need to impress anyone. It needs to be true enough that you can start living it in small ways. Second, you look for tiny moments in the day where old you would act one way and you give new you a chance to act differently. For example, old you wakes up, checks the phone, scrolls, and loses 30 minutes. New you wakes up, still feels the impulse to scroll, but says, "Today I will first do 5 minutes of English. After that, I can scroll." Old you is in a meeting. Someone asks something in English. They look down, hope someone else answers. New you also feels nervous, but says, "I can try one sentence." Old you makes a mistake, says, "I am so stupid." New you feels the same impulse, takes a breath, and says nothing, or says, "I am learning," and continues. These are not huge, dramatic moments. They are small votes. Each time you act like new you cast a vote for that identity. At first, new you will lose many elections. Old habits will win most of the time. But if you keep voting, day after day, something starts to shift. One morning, you wake up and realize you did your English without negotiating so much. One day, you notice you did not insult yourself when you made a mistake. One afternoon, you say something in English without planning every word. The new identity starts to feel more natural. Now, another important point. To become someone new, you will lose some things. You will lose some comfort. You will lose some familiar excuses. You may lose some people. Not everyone likes when you change. If your identity has always been, "I am the funny one who never takes anything seriously," and you start to be more focused, more committed, some friends may feel uncomfortable. If your identity has always been, "I am the one who stays quiet," and you start speaking more, asking more, taking more space, some people may be surprised. They may say, "You are different. You are not the same person." And they are right. You are not. You are becoming someone new. The question is, do you want to stay in the old costume to keep everyone else comfortable? Or do you want to grow into the version of yourself that feels more honest to you? You are not obligated to stay the same for the comfort of others. There is one more angle that we need to talk about: grief. When you change, you may feel sad for the years you spent being the old version. You may think, if I had started earlier, I would be so much better now. You look at your English, you look at your habits, you look at your life, and you feel regret. Regret is normal, but it can paralyze you. You cannot go back to change who you were. You can only decide who you are becoming. So, instead of using the past to attack yourself, you can say, I did not know how to be this new person before. Now I am learning. I cannot change yesterday, but I can make it less powerful by building a different tomorrow. Becoming someone new also means forgiving old you. They did what they could with the tools they had. You are now getting new tools. Use them. Before we finish, let us do a different kind of exercise. Not choose one area. A story exercise. Imagine a documentary about your life. There is a narrator speaking over images of you doing things. The narrator says, this was the moment when they decided to become someone new. What are we seeing on the screen? Are we seeing you watching another video and doing nothing? Or are we seeing you close the app, grab a notebook, and write your sentence? I am becoming someone who... Are we seeing you set an alarm for tomorrow morning? Are we seeing you send a message to schedule that English call? Are we seeing you take a deep breath and speak even with a shaking voice? Your moment does not need to look dramatic. It just needs to be real. The narrator continues. From that day, they were not instantly transformed. They still had doubts. They still made mistakes. They still had days when the old self was louder. But from that day, they did not let the old identity own the whole story. They kept walking. Step by step, they became someone new. When this audio ends, do not try to rewrite your entire life in 1 hour. Ask yourself 3 small questions. First, if I continue being exactly this version of me for the next 5 years, what parts of my life will hurt the most? Second, who am I becoming now? Finish this sentence honestly. I am becoming someone who... Make it about identity, not about possession. Third, what is the next small action that this new version would do today, not next month, today? Maybe it is something with English. Maybe it is how you speak to yourself. Maybe it is one decision you have been avoiding. You do not need to feel like the new person to act like the new person. You act first. The feeling comes later. Becoming someone new is not a single moment. It is a series of small, sometimes invisible acts of courage, done by someone who is tired of repeating the same old story and finally chooses to write a different one. Thanks for watching.